That's not the Facebook page I expected to see from a chiropractor. This guy here is cooking meals, is doing these podcasts and bullshitting with people and having fun. I'm looking at, my little business side of what I'm doing. And it's not just about all starting IVs, but it's having fun, building some relationships and connecting with people in the community. So I actually give you a little credit.
Yeah.
You have a lot of followers and you got people that just keep coming back.
What the hell's going on out here? All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Fueled by Spite. As always, I'm your host, Dr. James Taylor. With me today, Mr. Ryan Spencer of Rapid Relief Mobile IVs. So get this. We met, I just had this thing here in my office, right? This Patient Appreciation Day. And I was like, hey, how can I make this more collaborative? How can I get people from in and around the community to take a part in it? And I'm like, well, let's see if anyone else wants to give stuff away. So I just put something out there and jumped at the chance just to help out. So in the brief time we've spoke, I know you do IVs, nurse, RN, LPN, RN, paramedic, firefighter.
Yes, sir. Do a little bit
That's
of everything.
A lot of stuff.
Do a little bit of everything. Keeps you busy.
Shit, I imagine. So, dude, give me your origin story. Like, how did you get in to any one of those four, let alone all of those four?
Well, I'll blow your mind to start with. I was an animal trainer at SeaWorld for a long time. So I started there and, just got to the point where it was time to come back to Texas. I was living all over the country and I always wanted to be a fireman since I was a little kid. So I got into it a little bit late. Most guys get in around 20. I was about 26, 27 when I started and got into it. And I got in for the medical side. I loved it. But you can't make money as a paramedic just riding an ambulance. The money can be made in the fire service. So went to the fire service and fell in love with that even more than the medical, but still love the medical. And people be shocked to know it's 80% of what we do. We don't fight as many fires as we used to, but people are fatter and sicker. And, just the way it goes, our American diet's terrible. So became an RN. And then this little side gig popped up, something to do. I enjoy it. I love it. I get to connect with people and be out in the community and help people. Really, that's what it's all about.
Okay, so I'm going to have to back that up a little bit then. There's more to unpack there than I anticipated. I should do a little bit more research. So how did you get to SeaWorld? What were you?
Oh, man.
What age were you from?
All right, so let me lay this out for you. It wasn't,
Please.
I didn't swim with Shamu.
Okay.
I was with a contract company.
That was in college. No.
Yeah, exactly. We've all been there. Not admitting that one, though. But no, I started out with dogs and cats and horses and all kinds of stuff. It was a contract show that the SeaWorld companies bought.
Okay.
So I worked for a guy named Joel Slavin, and he sold that show, and it was the #1 show in every SeaWorld park. I did that. It started out at Six Flags here in Arlington.
Okay.
And I was 15 years old when I started that. By the time I graduated high school, he had moved on and sold the SeaWorld shows, and I moved to Orlando, and that was that. I was in Orlando, San Diego, went to Cleveland for a little bit, all the Busch Gardens, San Antonio. So I did it for years and loved it. Got to work on a few little commercials and things when I was out in California, and that I always had this firefighter thing that I just knew I wanted to do. And I was traveling everywhere, which is every young kid's dream. I'm on the beach in California, but I always had enough, forward thinking that I'm thinking this is not long term. I can't settle down ever, and I'm going to get older and need a retirement and need all those things. So that fire thing just kept pulling at me. And plus, I'm a Texas boy. As fun as California and Florida are, there's nothing like living in Texas.
Man, I can't argue with that. I mean, I didn't have the privilege to be born here. I was up from Minnesota originally.
Oh,
I don't know if you can tell. I'll still search out my O's and A's from time to time.
You got to tell me, when we have our winter blast here in Texas, that's got to drive you nuts.
Oh, no, I'm cold just like everybody else now, man.
But the people driving the way we shut down.
It's lovely. You don't stay on the road. It's like, I know what I'm doing. I know what to look out for. But also at the same time, like, I stay inside just like, because I legit, this is not to make this about me, but it's my podcast. I legit remember the very first time that 40 degrees was cold, and it was my second winter here. I was up on Golden Triangle. There's a racetrack up there. And 9 years ago, all those houses weren't there. That development was there. There was a racetrack at the end of a housing development. And I popped in there, get some gas. And I remember I popped my door open. I step out of my truck and just wind come flying across that field and hit me. I'm like, oh, shit.
Remind you of being back in Minnesota.
Yeah. Like I said, that was first time I remember 40 degrees felt cold. So yeah, the winter blast here, I am literally, I've acclimated.
Okay.
In that I am just like everybody else.
You've been here for a while.
Yeah. I'm going to stay put.
But
until
Texas
this
is
summer.
great. I mean, you're here.
Yeah,
that's where I was born and raised. I'm a Texas boy, so that's what brought me back. And then on top of that, the pull of the fire service. So long
So
story
how long
short,
did you do the SeaWorld thing?
golly,
Or how about this? When did you come back here? How old were you?
I moved back here when I was 22 or 23. So
Okay.
I was gone for about 4 years
Yeah.
post high school, did the animal training thing about 3 years
Mhm.
before I graduated high school. So, I got some time in doing it,
Right.
and then came back, started going to school, and you're back in the real world of working, a fire department job. So
Yeah.
I love it. It's
No, actually, tell me about that, because that's one thing too. Like coming from up north, unless you are in a major metropolitan area, and even some like it's got to be a relatively big city, but there's a lot of places up north that firefighters are it's a volunteer
it
gig.
is.
I didn't know until again I started down here, and I had a couple patients that were going through it, and just the rigor that it takes to legit become a fireman here.
It's a lot.
It is a lot.
It's a
Like
lot.
for the uneducated or the uninformed, like how do you become a fireman in DFW?
All right. So if you get, well, let's back up. If you get outside the metroplex, you get in the little rural towns,
Mhm.
they're all volunteers.
Okay.
Just like what you're describing. When you get in these major metropolitan areas, there's not enough volunteers. Nobody's going to do it. Everybody's working. You can't drop what you're doing and run to a fire because a pager goes off. So they're all
Fair.
paid fire service. So to do that, whether you're here, San Antonio, Houston, any major metropolitan area, you got to become an EMT first, which is emergency medical technician. You pretty much drive the ambulance.
Mhm.
That's what you do. And then you become a paramedic. That takes a lot more training.
Yeah.
And then you become a fireman. So
Oh shit!
we're
So you
all-
can't just be like, "Hey, I just want to fight fires." No, you got to do
you're not
all
doing
this
it.
other stuff too.
Like I was explaining to you earlier, 80% of what we do is medical.
Oh yeah.
So
Okay. Yeah, shit, you did say that.
everybody wants a paramedic,
Yeah.
for the fire department. So firefighting is the fun part. We like to see somebody's house burn down, but that's what we train for.
Yeah.
And we don't get to do it that much. So when we hear those fire tones go off, meaning time to go to a fire, everybody gets excited because we train and train and train.
Mhm.
And then finally it happens. But every day we run medical calls all day long, all day long.
There's an old folks home right up the road
I'm
here,
telling you,
and they're running.
we have
every day.
we have a district where I work that has all the nursing homes, and all the old guys don't want to work there.
Yeah.
The young kids, they love it because it's busy, it's active, they get to run a bunch of calls, but it's also the all-night station because medical is what we do. So that's what it takes to become a fireman, and you're not going to do it without the medical side.
Interesting.
Just
So
not.
then, what got you from the fireman into the IV thing then?
Well, as you get older in the fire service, if you're smart, you move up, promote, move up, and you get off the ambulance. You're either a captain on a fire truck or a chief somewhere in some department or whatever, and you don't do the medical side anymore.
Mhm.
And most guys love that. But like I told you, I love the medical side.
Yeah.
That's really what got me into this. So this gave me an opportunity to still do medical, still help people medically.
Okay.
So I get the best of both worlds there.
That's good. So how long have you been doing that? The IV thing.
IV thing, I'm only about 5 months into it.
Oh damn.
Now
Okay.
I've been starting IVs for 20
Yeah.
plus years, but hospitals and ambulances. But
Yeah,
as far
it's
as vitamin
for
infusions,
medically necessary, like
exactly. So this is fun because people
aren't
want this.
dying.
They want this. They're not dying. I'm not sticking a needle in their neck, trying to inject drugs that are going to keep them alive. This is vitamin infusions, and I don't show up, and people are like, "Oh no," they called me. So anyway, it gives me the best of both worlds. I love it. It's
So
great.
this is a truly interesting path. So like, and I'll say animal trainer. We'll go animal
Yeah, there we
trainer
go.
to guy who volunteers to go into burning buildings. Those aren't two. Generally speaking, I would imagine those aren't two.
Like polar opposites.
Actually,
Really.
one, they're polar opposites, but two, it's not like one's dangerous. The other is like you joined the circus almost.
I know.
Like you had to have some people like along the way being like, "What the fuck? Why are you doing that?"
Absolutely. And well, really, they're like, "What are you doing now?" They just don't get it. People I grew up with, like, "Man, text me or something. I haven't seen you or heard from you in a long time." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm in California." Like, "What the hell are you doing in California? Training animals?" They're like, "What? Say that again?" They just don't get it because it's not a normal. You can't just run down the street and get an animal training job.
Right.
And I kind of fell into this. I got lucky. I got in with a good guy. The guy I went to work for was actually one of the animal trainers on Ace Ventura. For the older crowd, such an old movie now.
Wait, the first one or the second one or both?
The first one.
Okay.
So they can show you some age there, but he did all that stuff, and shit, he was amazing. He trained on, I can't even name all the movies, but he's a big time animal trainer. He still does a bunch of animal training.
Did he have an accent? Like a foreign accent?
No.
He's because like legit, you remember the scene in Ace Ventura where he's mimicking the animal trainer? It's like, "Do you speak dolphin?" Like, I'm like, I wonder,
we laugh about all that stuff. We'd bust his balls about things like that. But yeah, so he's the one that got me into it. But back to your original question, people are like, what are you doing? You know, it just didn't make sense. But yeah, so then when I'm with that group and I tell them I'm leaving to go back home to be a fireman, they're like, "You're not going to do that. What are you talking about?
You've seen the country.
Yeah,
like,
you're
been all
kidding
over.
me. You're living out by the ocean and you're training animals, having a blast. You're going to go be a fireman. Who wants to do that? You want to go run into a building and kill yourself, you know?" And so I had both sides. People are like, "Why aren't you doing that? Come back home." You know, and then over here, like, why are you going back to Texas? You live in California, you know, and or Florida, wherever I was. Like, why would you want to go run in a burning building? I'm like, I don't know. Just do.
Just do.
It's just something I always want to do, you know? So anyway, it's an interesting transition. Like, not many people do this. And I mean, there's a lot of firemen, but you know, not everybody does it. And,
Yeah.
you know, kids, even my little girls still look up to me. You know, it's not until when it comes to girls, it's not until girls get older before they realize, like, that's not that impressive. But when kids or young girls, you know, they're like, wow, I was a fireman. But it's fun. We have a great time. It's a different career too. You know,
True.
it's a firehouse. We all live together. It's like another family.
So it's like 4 days on, 8 days off.
Well, right
like
now, traditionally, it's been 1 day on and 2 days off.
Okay.
And then here comes the West Coast version of fire department schedule where it's 2 days on and 4 days off. You know, let me tell you, the reason that started, it's a little bit about the Metroplex, is all the LA and San Diego firefighters couldn't afford to live in the city. You know, it's too expensive.
Fair.
So they live 4 hours inland and they got to commute. So they were trading shifts. If I'm going to drive, I might as well be there for a couple, trading shifts with each other and then be off for a while. That was never applicable in Texas until recently, until COVID. What housing prices do, they shot up. You know, and so people nowadays, if you're 22 and you start as a fireman, good luck buying a house in the Metroplex.
Yeah, I bet.
$500,000, $600,000.
Yeah.
So what are they doing? They're moving out past Weatherford. So now it's finally applicable here, and all the fire departments are doing it. So we're transitioning into that in January. As a matter of fact, the owner of Rapid Relief, where he works, they're already doing it. So it's become a recruitment and retention problem for firefighters, for fire departments, because that's what the kids want. You know, they're coming out of school, they're like, man, I want to get my 2 days over with. I have 4 days off so I can go do whatever I want to do.
Right.
So it's coming, but yeah, that's our schedule.
Is there,
it's different.
And this is just maybe a little bit of my naivete, if you will, of having moved to Texas and not, you know, being from here. But it sounds like, you know, this young kid's coming out. It's like 2 days on to 4 days off. Dude, I'm just thinking of like the oil field workers who have very similar schedules and what they do on their 5 days off.
Well, so let me tell you, it's polar opposites. You got,
thank God.
Well, I'm saying there are polar opposites in the fire service, because there's guys that will take that 4 days, dedicate it to their family.
Yeah.
There's guys that'll take out 4 days and dedicate it to a side job. Maybe they're running a business. And then there's guys that probably go and overindulge a little bit.
Right.
You know, but those guys get weeded out. I mean, there's character and things you have to maintain in the fire service, plus tested and all that stuff. So
also nothing against oil field workers.
No.
You all know what your stereotype is.
Well, it's just the truth,
Yeah,
right? We're not saying anything that's not right. But yeah, so it gives you a lot of time to either be prosperous in something else you want to do or screw your life up, one or the other. But
That's
you know,
fair.
you can do that. If you can do that in 4 days, you can certainly do it too as well. So
You
it's
know,
not the
I mean,
schedule.
dude, shit, there's a lot of truth in that. That's awesome. So here, what I want to do, I want to do a little speed round with you here.
All right.
So, because obviously, I mean, I've no pressure. I expect good answers from this. Just giving the path that you've trod, if you will.
Don't set the bar too high.
Do me a favor. Give me a person that you would trade places with for a day.
Holy shit. Man, I'm gonna have to say, now this is 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. Peyton Manning.
Not Peyton today?
Not Peyton today.
That's fair.
He's retired. Peyton Manning.
Dude, what's your guilty pleasure? What do you do on your soon-to-be 4 days off?
Oh, man. I'm a big hunter.
Okay.
I love to go hunting, and I can't say I'm the only guy that has it, but I'm one of the few guys that has 2 girls that love to go hunting with their daddy.
Dude, that's fantastic.
They love to shoot guns, do all that, so that's my guilty pleasure.
That's
Get
cool.
out now. There might be a few cold beers involved, but
yeah.
There's going to be me, 2
rifle,
girls
bow, or bow?
hunting.
Because bow season right now.
Bow season's right now, but we get into pig hunting.
Okay.
Those little girls, they're still not to the point where they're cool shooting a deer, you know, Bambi, all that.
Yeah,
thing.
really
But pig hunting, I've convinced them pigs are bad, so
that's fair.
Good.
So, in all the stuff that you've been going through, what's the worst advice you've ever gotten?
Oh Lord, we may have to come back to that one.
That's fair.
I've gotten a lot of bad advice. I'm gonna come up to go. I've probably given a lot of bad advice too.
Shit, we all have.
To be fair, I've probably given worse.
So, okay, then what's something you wish you were better at?
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna give myself a little credit and say I'm a pretty dang good dad. I love
Nice.
my girls, but I'm always gonna wish I could be better at it. I'm sure I have failures here and there, just like anybody.
I've
But
I've touched on this on a few occasions. I got 2 kids myself.
yeah,
Calvin Michael is 6, and my daughter Frankie is 7. She'll be 8 in January.
wow, close together.
Dude, 21 months apart. I was cleaning it, went off in my hand. She was standing way too close. But like, correct me if I'm wrong. Dude, parenting, it's not incredibly hard.
It's not.
It's really not, dude.
You
Like,
hear people talk about there's no book for it and this and that. And it's like, dude, do right.
yeah,
Do right. If your kid sucks, do something about it.
Yeah.
Don't let them be mean to other kids or, you tell them clean a room and they don't do it and you look the other way, well, you're gonna have a problem.
Yeah.
I saw a bumper sticker of all things that sticks out in my mind. A bumper sticker that said, raise your kids now or you'll raise your grandkids later.
Yep.
And I mean, if that's not the damn truth, be a parent.
Dude,
Be a parent first, friend second.
it really like
That's that. There's your model for parenting.
it pops up more often than I would care to. Like just stuff like just people talking about like how either A, how hard parenting is, or B, no, don't get me wrong. It's a
Oh, it's
fucking
tough.
time commitment, scheduling sucks balls, all that's you gotta eat dinner again. Like we just did this yesterday. But like, yeah, that stuff but like generally speaking, like, dude, it's not that hard. And the amount of people I see that like just shit on having to parent. Like,
Well, you look at people don't want to be parents, like,
Mm.
but they have kids, and it's like if you're not ready to shift your life to being about those kids for, I don't know, let's say at least 14 years, because about 14, they're done with you for a while.
Yeah.
It's all about friends, So at least about 12, 13, 14 years, it's about your kid.
Yeah.
And guess what? That's your responsibility. Go take care of it.
And if you do, again, if you're a good person, like,
You're going to do it.
my kids kick ass. Like,
And
they're
that's
cool to be
the
around.
best thing you're going to leave behind is
Yep.
your kids. And if you didn't do a good job, not so good.
Yeah, then check on your
Not so
grandkids.
good.
So yeah, kind of off topic. I just didn't anticipate that, but I'm not mad about it.
I like it.
Well, hell, this is a good one. What's an idea that most people get wrong?
An idea that most people get wrong. That anything, no, I got one. That you're entitled to anything.
Fact.
That you're entitled to anything. I'm not just talking about government entitlement. I'm talking about in school, at work. You're not entitled to shit.
Mm-hmm.
Everything you get is a privilege. It takes hard work. And once you get it, you better keep earning it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Can't argue with you. All right, last one, dude. What's one question you wish I would have asked?
Oh, man. No, that's probably too dirty. I'm not going to ask that. We got to have fun in here. Golly, so many things running through my head. How about, well, let me turn it on you while I'm thinking. What's one question you want me to ask you?
Oh, shit. Nobody has ever asked the question. I've always been promoting.
You're a man of many words.
Let's hear it. No one's ever looked over to me, the lonely host.
Well, I'm going to turn this back on the host because I have blank.
Let's see. Question that I wish you would have asked me. I would kind of cover it at the beginning. I always do get a kick out of it when people wonder why I do this, like why I do the podcast. Because like there's a decent amount of subscribers. It's not in. I don't even think it has a comma in it yet. We get a decent amount of views, and every now and then, one will pop off. But true, like the reason I do this, and it's always fun when people ask, is because it's collaboration. Like I didn't know you 25 minutes ago. You seem like a pretty cool dude now.
Now we're going to have some beers.
Yeah, exactly. Right. We might do that thing we were talking about pre-show where we just put a bottle between us.
That's the next podcast.
Exactly.
I'm
right?
bringing it. I got it.
Like it's fun meeting people. Cause like one thing, and I've touched on this on a couple other episodes, when I started like this chiropractic thing, I concentrated within the 4 walls of the office. And I'm not going to I built a badass practice.
Yeah.
I would have more impact if I had reached outside of the walls first.
Fair enough.
So that's what's
fair question.
Part of what this whole thing is. It's me going outside the walls. It's me creating relationships that weren't necessarily there.
All right. So back to my question that I wish you'd ask, and I'm going to tag it off of what you just did.
Fair.
Why did I come do this?
Why did you come do this?
All right. So when I reached out to you to be a sponsor, I was purely looking for ways to get my name out there and get the Rapid Relief name out there.
Yep.
And as I started digging afterwards, after you said, hell yeah, man, come on. I donated an IV package. But then I started digging through your Facebook page. And I mentioned this to you before we even started. That's not the Facebook page I expected to see from a chiropractor. This guy here is cooking meals, is doing these podcasts and bullshitting with people and having fun. And it was somewhat inspiring. I'm looking at, my little business side of what I'm doing, and it's not just about all starting IVs, but it's having fun, building some relationships and connecting with people in the community. And
Yeah.
it was really cool. So I'm actually give you a little credit, changing the way I'm doing a little bit of marketing stuff on my pages, because it's not all about chiropractor on yours, but it's entertaining. And you
Yeah.
have a lot of followers, and you got people that are just keep coming back.
Well, they
Hopefully a bunch of them are going to watch this.
Yeah, I know, right? I think it's like here's what I think. Like they come back. A lot of people come here, like keep coming here because they like me.
Yeah.
There are plenty of people that have come in here and left because they don't like me, dude. And I'm okay with that. I totally am.
Go find what makes you happy.
Exactly, right? Because I mean, if you don't like me and or I don't like you,
This
there's
is
no
not gonna
way I'm
work.
going to be able to help you as good as I could somebody who actually likes me.
Yeah. For
And
sure.
not only that, but we're both going to hate it when you're here.
For sure. So then we're going to get a lot of views. Maybe not this one, but we're going to plan this. I'm going to Uber up here. I'm
Right.
bringing a cooler.
There it is.
We're gonna sit here, and I promise you we'll stay nowhere near the topic, but we're going to have a blast.
That's awesome, dude. So quick, before we wrap it up here, where can people find you?
All right. RapidReliefMobileIV.com website. Specifically, my page is Mobile IV Service by Ryan Spencer. I know it's very original, but it sticks out. And then Instagram at the IV Guy DFW.
Awesome.
So check us out. There's menus, there's everything. First responders and military get a discount. Try to take care of people, and I promise you, you get flooded with vitamins, especially if you're not feeling good. You'll want more.
That's
So
awesome.
It just feels great,
dude. I appreciate you taking the time
enjoyed it.
today. Thanks, guys. I say this at the end of every show, and this is more true now than it has been on any other one. You will learn more here by accident than elsewhere by design. Right here at Fueled by Spite. Ryan, thanks. You guys, as always, like, share, follow. We'll catch you on the next one. See ya.